I had to turn off my air purifier so that I could do this, and my allergies have been going crazy lately. That's why this review is actually slightly late, because I've been so sick from allergies. So hopefully I won't die in the time that it takes me to record this. Hello, geeks, freaks, and all those unique. This is EmceeFrodis. We've blasted into the future with Season 3 of Star Trek Discovery. Here are my thoughts on Episode 2, Far From Home. It was written by Michelle Paradise, Jenny Lumet, and Alex Kurtzman, and directed by Olutunde Ususami. In this episode, we see the Discovery and its crew arriving in the 32nd century. The ship crashes into a planet with a parasitic life form that can devour the ship and its crew, so they must race against time to repair the damage and take off again. Meanwhile, Saru and Tilly must bargain with the locals, while Saru battles with Giorgio for command of the ship. This is not the second part of That Hope Is You, which we actually don't know if there's going to be a second part yet, despite the name for the first episode being Part 1. We have all of the episode titles for the season, so that's weird. That's a Chekhov's gun if I've ever seen one. Not you. This episode isn't the second part of the premiere, except it is. This plays as a companion piece. Both episodes serve to introduce our characters to the 32nd century. They contrast and complement each other. While episode 1 was just following Michael Burnham on the very action-oriented but fairly straightforward adventure, this episode focuses on many characters. It's more subdued compared to the first episode, yet somehow it feels even more disorienting. By moving between the characters abruptly, we're put into a similar situation as them and are unable to get purchase on the situation. As the ship crashes into the 32nd century, I'm left with the question, why are there no seatbelts in the future? You're on a spaceship. It's not like we haven't seen seatbelts in Star Trek before. The Franklin had them. Hey, wait, the Franklin launched well before the Kelvin incident. Presumably they were unaffected by anything from the time schism. That means we can have Idris Elba in Strange New Worlds. Give it to me. Give it to me now! Wow, I'm off topic again, and for some reason doing an Arnold Schwarzenegger impersonation. We get a surprising amount of time with Lieutenant Detmer, as she seems to be the most disoriented from the jump to the future. This is left open as to the reason. It could be from being thrown around, something being wrong with her implant, or some form of PTSD. Whatever it is, I like having more Detmer, as she's been woefully underused on the show so far, and it's nice to have something with her that can continue on for future episodes. We get a sense of resolution in the schism that's been between Culber and Stamets since Culber's resurrection. While obviously Culber chose to remain on Discovery and come to the future, we finally get to see them reunite, and I'm so relieved this finally happened. They've gone through so much in the past 2 seasons. It's time they should be able to get some time together and just be happy. I also love Stamets with Reno. They have such a wonderful chemistry. They are my queer, snarky bro TP. I felt their storyline together was thin in terms of plot. What they were actually doing didn't make much sense, but I kind of didn't care because I just love watching these two characters interact. But I've got to stop burying the lead. If you're going to talk about anyone in this episode, it's Saru. I am 1,005% on Team Captain Saru. I think Michael does plenty without being the captain, and it's a role that fits Saru better. I think that this is what they're going for based on Saru's plot in this episode. While there's a functional plot, it's mostly about his character being challenged by Giorgio for dominance. This is not a small thing. While this is not the same Giorgio, she was the first captain we saw on the show. She was also the emperor of the Terran Empire. She's someone who's used to being in charge, and we're used to seeing her be in charge. However, Saru doesn't back down for a single solitary minute with her. This tells me they're specifically setting him up to take over the ship. I welcome it, as long as it doesn't lead to anything bad happening to Saru. Captains on Discovery have the life expectancy of Spinal Tap drummers. As Saru and Tilly go out to meet the locals and get what they need for the ship, we're thrown straight into a space western. This is Firefly. This is The Mandalorian. It's the typical western plot. Strangers come into town and rescue the locals from the person extorting them. Both of the plots, the western feeling, strangers come to town to rescue people, and the sci-fi ticking clock because of alien MacGuffin, are really rote. But honestly, we don't want anything too complicated. It's not about that. It's about the emotional experience these characters go through adjusting to this new world and their new positions. It works remarkably well. Do we care how the Discovery gets out of the parasitic ice? No, because we know they're going to. What we care about is how Saru adjusts to serving as the permanent captain of the Discovery, and how he deals with the insubordination of Giorgio. We care about Saru and Tilly finding out about the fall of the Federation, and this lawless future we're in now. Also, just big ups to Tilly being a complete badass in this episode. I love that she's able to figure out that nobody has any dilithium anymore, and she really holds her own in this. Well, we're used to Tilly being very nervous, and we still see signs of that in this episode with people not wanting her to go along with Saru. She's really earning her place. We get to know Jojo a lot more than we have previously. What we've seen of her before, she's been someone on the outside. But she's now functionally a member of Discovery, and we need her to find her place. She's mostly caring about Michael, but she has to learn that caring about the Discovery is caring about Michael. And okay, I'm a little ashamed to admit, I thought what you call pain, I call foreplay was hot. Not that ashamed. Michelle Yeoh is sexy as hell playing Mirror Jojo. I've seen some commentators criticizing the parasitic ice, and I think it's a needless criticism. As I said, it's a space MacGuffin that doesn't really matter to the plot. It's just there to give us a ticking clock. I also think that people shouldn't take the word ice too literally. It's not actual ice. It's just called that because that's what it looks like. I can't say whether or not I like this episode or That Hope Is You Part 1 better. I think they both struck very different emotional chords, and I think that they work in tandem with one another. Neither of them work better than the other because they work together. As I stated in my last review, I didn't want Discovery and Burnham to be apart for too long, so I'm really glad to see them back together. I'm not sure I feel about Burnham helping them out in the end. I think they could have gotten away and still found a way to reunite them before the end of the episode. We also find out that it took 1 year for Discovery to arrive in the future. I didn't expect to not see any of Burnham's experience getting used to the future. Of course, we won't be robbed of those experiences as we'll be able to see the Discovery crew get used to the future. All in all, I think this was a really solid episode. I think we've taken 2 episodes to get our crew into the future, and that seems to be a good amount of time to adjust to the paradigm. I can't wait to see what happens to our crew as they really delve into this new future. So comment down below with your thoughts on Far From Home. Please like this video and be sure to subscribe to my channel to see more Star Trek videos as well as Supernatural, Sherlock, Star Wars, and other geekery. Share this video across social media. All of this helps support my tiny channel. You can also head over to my Patreon and support me there, where you will get access to early videos and polls. You can also buy me a coffee. If you're looking for something to wear, you can hit up my TeePublic and Redbubble, where you'll find my shirts. Today, I am wearing my Quantum Leap shirt. Not quite Star Trek, but also a little bit related, because Sam Beckett, Enterprise. Anyways, until next time, have a wonderful day, live long, and may the Force be with you.